Hi there, and welcome back to another Papetti Math YouTube video tutorial, where I'm going to be teaching you, yes you, Algebra 1. And in this video, we're going to be looking at piecewise functions. This is exercise number 2. Piecewise functions could combine two or more types of functions. Below, you will graph a piecewise function consisting of a linear function and a square root function. Okay, so here's our linear function, and here's our square root function. Two functions that we have worked with already. And in addition to those functions, we have an interval over which we're going to graph them. We're going to graph the linear function only where x is less than 0. So let's start with that. We have a y-intercept of 3 and a slope of negative 1 over 4. So we're going to graph our slope of negative 1 over 4, but if we go down 1 right 4, that's going to be going where x is greater than 0. We want only where x is less than 0. So we're going to go in the opposite direction, which is going to be up 1, left 4. And that's the only point that's going to fit. But be careful, because what we just did was I looked at this, and I need to make sure that I'm graphing where x is less than 0. By putting a closed point here, that's not where x is less than 0. So I'm going to go ahead and erase that and replace it with an open circle. So I'm going to put an open circle there to show that any point less than that. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to connect those 2 points. And if I wanted to extend it a little bit, but I wouldn't extend it, that's not necessary. And then put an arrow on the end of that to show it goes on forever in that direction. There's our linear part of the function. Now we want to graph the square root part of the function, where x is greater than or equal to 0. So now we're equal to 0, so now we're definitely safe putting a closed circle. And that closed circle is going to go at 0, 0. And now we're going to do the square root of 1 is 1, but multiplied by a negative is going to be negative 1. Square root of 2 is irrational. Square root of 3 is irrational. Square root of 4 is 2, but make it negative, it says. Square root of 5 is irrational. Square root of 6 is irrational. Square root of 7 is irrational. 8 is irrational. Ooh, square root of 9 is 3, but it says in my function to make it negative. So it's going to be a negative 3. And now we have the negative square root of x right here. And I'm going to connect that with a nice curve because that's the square root function, and draw an arrow to show that that continues forever in the infinity direction. So right here we have a piecewise function that has a linear function and a piece of a square root function. And if this was helpful in graphing a different type of piecewise function here, please give this video a thumbs up. And you're now ready for exercise number 3. Good luck.